All right. Thought it'd be better to be early. Talking to the computer in here. Computer. Better early than late with all the problems that have been going on. Just waiting to see who's gonna show up. You guys can give me a something. Give me a something in the chat. Let me know. I don't know why everything was such a pain in the butt for the past couple days. Now it just went off like without a hitch. Totally easy. I guess it's a mystery. It's a mystery. Hey Mark, hey Bonnie. How are you guys doing? I'm glad you're here. Hey Mike, glad you're here. Mike's been leaving me very nice comments. I appreciate it. So you guys know, like, the reason I asked for you guys to comment is because it's going to help with the algorithm. So eventually, I think that YouTube likes to see that something's actually going on the page, that people are engaged and having like an all right time maybe. So if you guys can do that for me, it'd be awesome. So that would be make sure to go and leave some comments. I think sometimes you have to. I think you might have to wait till it turns into like an actual post, and it's not live. I don't know. Like Mike. Oh hey Olaf, shit, dude. I didn't even think you'd be up still. Oh Olaf. So everyone here, I'll just. Well, I don't know where you're from, Bonnie. So you have to let me know. Mark, I know, is from Austin. Olaf is from Sweden. Mike, I believe, is in Houston. Yeah, you guys make sure to all hit the thumbs up. Make sure to like it. Make sure you're subscribed. And make sure to leave comments. That's the only way we're going to get this stuff rolling. And what we're going to do is then we're going to do those classes that I've been promising everyone. It is 1:55, so I am... it's only 9. Man, I don't know why I thought it was probably 3 in the morning or something. So we're going to get the viewership up, and then we're going to do these online tutorials and everything once that happens. So it's 1:55, so I just wanted to make sure that... oh, Mike, Mike's right down the street. And you're in... Okay, Texans, a lot of Texans. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Bonnie, I've been to Corpus Christi. We played, I was in this punk band, and we played on the beach in like one of those big concrete, kind of a dome-looking things in Corpus Christi, like many, many years ago. And as soon as we walked into the mall in Corpus, they kicked us right back out again. It was just, we were just too much to look at. We hadn't actually done anything, but we were probably a sight, a sight. Perhaps. So we're going to wait and let some people get in here because I have a special surprise for you guys, and that is that everyone that shows up in the feed today, and I'll probably try to do it like about 10 or 15 minutes in, because I think that's when the most people are here before they start getting bored and wandering off, is you guys will have access to the very special super secret 50% off sale code that's going to be good for the Friday the 13th sale, which will be tomorrow. So if you guys had any interest in getting some junker stuff or more junker stuff, this is a code that I'm going to give to you guys that's going to be good for tomorrow to use for 50% off. And right now there's a lot of stuff online that's really cheap already, because I've been trying to burn through the stock that I have here and make room mentally and physically for hey Yvonne. And you'll be able to see my ugly face here in a few seconds. Yvonne is, I can actually see her in the kitchen cooking some delicious meats right now. And she's on the feed. Although you don't have an avatar, it looks like just a pink lady. It looks like a pink crash test dummy, or you look like a pink bathroom icon for a non-gender specific person that likes pink for their background. It's kind of what her icon looks like. Everyone else, I can see your faces. And, 2 more minutes to go. Like, we're early. So, look, I really appreciate it. I know some of you guys, like Bonnie, might be sneaking this in during your lunch break. And I'm glad you decided not to, murder during your lunch break and decided to watch this instead. I know work can be a drag. As it turns into 2 o'clock, I'm going to give you guys like the junker history, a brief history. Some of you may have already heard this stuff before, but I feel like, hey Rob, what's up? I feel like I want to give you guys some qualifiers. There's another guy I watch on here that I like a lot named Ethan Van Sciver. And to make a long story short, I've been working on comic books on the side, and I ran into this guy's video. And Ethan was talking about what art supplies you could get at Michael's that he would use to draw comics. And he'd been drawing comics for many, many years, 20 plus years. And anyway, I started getting more into watching all of his videos, and then I just started following like a bunch of other cool people. Yeah, Ethan's freaking hilarious. So the thing that was more intriguing about Ethan's story as it started to unfold, because I didn't understand what was going on. It was called Comic Artist Pro Secrets, I guess. So I was there to find out, am I drawing with the right pen, or is there some tools I can use that make my life easier? Is there something I'm doing that's just making my life a lot harder that I don't need to be doing as far as drawing comic books? And a lot of those guys draw on the big blue kind of cardboard stuff. I think it's like an acid. That's like an acid-free kind of like a heavyweight. I don't know if it's 100-pound kind of like a cardboard stuff that has the framing and the measurements. I think it's about 11 by 17, and I think it reduces down half to turn into like a comic book page of a regular comic you would expect to get, not the Marvel mega-sized Star Wars comic that I grew up with, which they would release the 11 by 17 big comics every once in a while. But hey, yeah, dude, hey, Slick is from Germany, so we have a couple of Europeans in here. I appreciate it. I'm early because I didn't want to F up like yesterday, because it was killing me. It was taking so long to get this stuff to work. Let's go ahead and make today's transition, and there we go. And that is a piece of art. I'll get back to the Ethan story in a second, but if you'll take a moment to look at this photograph. I've been using this photograph for a bunch of stuff. I probably talked about it a little bit before. This is done without Photoshop. There's no Photoshop in here. There is no effects. Me and John, he's also known as @Glitter Pimp. That's his Instagram. So we made this deal that we were going to do these shoots, and we didn't want to spend a lot of time, messing with models. We didn't want to spend a lot of time messing with lighting. So we kind of made a bargain for ourselves. We weren't going to shoot more than like a couple hours, and for the most part, we're under 2 hours on a lot of stuff. And then on some stuff, we've gone over, and we just get new ideas and keep going. But for the most part, we get a ton of shots, and we get them really fast. And so this is a guy named Vander Von Odd, who was a part of the Dragula TV series. I think that's out. I haven't seen it. I think he's a popular contestant. He's a great guy. I met him on a Lonesome Jackets to a low budget sci-fi. I think they were shooting a trailer or a proof of concept or something. Anyway, the great news from that was I met Vander and we shot this, and that is the Clyde Barker costume that never got used for a documentary called 25 Years of Hellraiser, that I believe the producer and the director had some kind of falling out, and it was a documentary, except for they were going to feature like 10 minutes of new crazy footage. And so this is from that. And the makeup is by Vander. And also something to note is that let me see if I can make this bigger. All right, give me a second. Let me see if I can do this. The makeup and hairstyling is Vander. That's a wig, by the way. So let's see if this works. How is that? So now you see. I think you can get a better look at it. I don't know. I can't tell the resolution exactly that great on my little screen here that I'm watching, but I'm learning how to use the OBS, so there's a drag time between what I'm saying and what I'm doing on my OBS, and then the one that I can see that's actually feeding into the YouTube. So right now I'm just you can see it. I think it's blurry. I can't tell because I don't have all my glasses. But you get a pretty good look at the costume, and so he had 24 hours to look at the costume, and then he came up with that wig. So Vander, hey Robert, Vander is bald, so all that hair is a wig that he made, and it's over some chicken wire and some stuff, and working fast, as we all know, is it's a talent in its own. I mean, working fast and good, I should say. So it looks like Robert Thomas is on here. So if you guys are in the Texas area, and I know some of you guys are, it was important for me that when I moved to Temple that I would hook up with people in Temple that were doing stuff. You know, in the art scene or rock and rollers or whatever. And so I met Robert. There's two Robs that like kind of run the mall here. They're like a bit of a gang. And so what they do is they run things. They run all the things. So there's a guy, Rob, who runs the coffee shop, and he gives me Death Wish coffee. He got me, I don't know if you can see it on here, I gave him this Death Wish coffee patch. So he runs a place called Peggy's Coffee Shop. And Robert, the other Robert, Kenneth Thomas, and this better be the right guy because I can't see really that well, these tiny little icons, runs the piercing shop there in the mall in Temple. And so it was important for me to make sure my stuff was in a shop in Temple. And so I hit these guys up, and so yeah, that's where the stuff is. So if you're in the Texas area, so far in Texas, the only place you're going to find any junker stuff that you can look at in a store, it's going to be at the Skin, God, is it called Skin Deep? Second Skin? Yeah, Zach Wilde promotes that coffee. So Robert has the tattoo and well, it's the piercing shop. It's not a tattoo shop. It's a piercing shop, and I think is it called Second Skin, Skin Deep? Dude, I'm like the worst with all this stuff. But if you go to the Temple Mall, there's only one piercing place in there. I'm sure he'll tell me in the feed in a second. We'll figure this shit out. Under My Skin. There we go. Jeez, can't remember it. So anyway, if you're in the Temple area, that means all Jarheads and all the Army guys and all the people in Killeen and Harker Heights, you can come get your stuff in the mall here. And every time I go to the gym with this hat, or the hat that's got the one that just says Junker on it, Army dudes always hit me up. I think they like it because it's camo. They also like it because I guess, I don't know. They just like it. They just like it. So we're at 208. I have some more delicious coffee here with a little bit of some more secret ingredients. I know that some of you guys are getting on the frog fuel, so let's take a second or two to talk about frog fuel. They do not give me any money. I'm not sponsored by Frog Fuel. I wanted to be sponsored by Frog Fuel, and maybe we'll work that out. But Frog Fuel, I'm on Frog Fuel right now. I feel very amphibious, and that stuff is great. I think there's 4 different varieties, and I'm just into like uppers, I guess, natural uppers, caffeine, and energy drinks and stuff like that. That's kind of my thing. I don't really drink. I haven't really drank since, I don't know, June 10, 87 was my sobriety date, when I made a commitment just to stop drinking because it was out of control. Since then, like, I've done like a bunch of other stuff, not drinking, but some stuff we could talk about probably at another time. But the point being, okay, so Mark is on Frog Fuel also. The point being, like, I mostly do like energy drinks and stuff like that, and caffeine. It's probably the most stuff that I do. So today I'm drinking some coffee with some more of that weird duck butter stuff. Oh yeah. So Mike likes stuff that doesn't have the mesh back. I mostly get stuff with the mesh back, the trucker hats. There's the this one. I do have this one. You guys can. This will be on sale. Fucker. The fucker hat is not. Doesn't have a mesh back. I have all my luggage is behind me still from Sweden. We still haven't really unpacked. But yeah, this one doesn't have the mesh back. And I also believe if you're interested in a not mesh back stuff, the Junker designs and the die fast cap that have like the printing on the underside, those don't have mesh backs either. So if you are follically challenged in the back area, then this might be the kind of hat for you, perhaps. So I wanted to give you guys a brief rundown really fast. So this did tie into this whole Ethan Van Sciver story, which was once I realized that Ethan was basically marginalized and kind of seemed like kind of run out of DC in the comic books industry because he voted for Donald Trump, the current president. Like I said before, I'm apolitical. I think the whole thing is a big swindle. I don't believe that our votes count, and I don't believe that these people have our best interest in mind at all. But given that, I don't really give a shit who you vote for. So to think that because he voted for a certain president that his life was then made a complete hell by a bunch of lunatics who don't realize that their vote doesn't matter either and that their voice doesn't matter at all either. Or maybe that's probably why they act out like so crazily, is because they realize that only on the internet and in the Twitterverse can they kind of rally some kind of stuff together. I mean, if you look back, and these are my examples, please explain to me why, although we've had many Democratic and many Republican presidents, that the war on poverty has not worked or been solved, and or the war on drugs has not been solved or really dealt with in any kind of meaningful way. And once you look at those two things, you can realize this whole thing is a swindle. And politicians don't run on problems that they've solved. They run on problems that they're gonna solve that they then do not solve. So it's a swindle. Please, don't fall for it. Anyway, I don't believe in bullying other people. I don't. I believe in live and let live until they, physically get like in my space and say or do things that are pretty threatening. Otherwise, I don't care what you do. So anyway, I just was intrigued by a story that there would be, that we're entering into this world of kind of like Stasi citizens spying on citizens and all this other garbage. So that's a little off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Slick's got it. So Slick and Olaf, they're in Europe. They know that this ship is the same thing over there. Although I would say I don't know if it's better or worse in Europe than it is here. It's really hard to say. I feel like all of America is a bit of a big reality show. People really want to talk a bunch of crap and don't want to do anything. An example for that is all the celebrities that were going to move if Trump became president. Guess how many moved? None. None. I just went to Sweden. It's a great place. Should have moved there. Should have moved there. But I'm getting a little off topic. So, kind of back on topic. I was following Ethan's comic artist pro secrets, and the thing I like that he always has this jibbity jam like right at the starting. He basically lays it out for you, what he's done and how long he's done it, and it's his little spiel he says at the starting of every broadcast. I feel like maybe I should do something like that. But so if I was going to do my version of the Ethan Van Sciver kind of version of things, I would say my name's Todd Waters. I'm the founder of Junker Designs. I've been in the fashion business for about 17 years now. I work on films and on my own line of fashions. I've seen all the good and the bad and the in-between in the fashion and rock biz. And I'm here to try to let you guys in on what I've experienced and let you guys freely ask questions. Luckily, I'm not popular yet, so we can all like have really crazy discussions and all that stuff. And so that's pretty much my spiel. I continue to work on films here in Austin, in Texas, and hopefully work on some films abroad as well. I continue to work on Junker Designs, the line. I continue to try to come up with new and crazy ideas. Continue to work with artists that are from my area. I like to work with Texans because I'm a Texan. Here's Wes, like right on time almost. I was talking about Texas artists. So if you look at West Texas here, and then you reference that with the Junker Designs website under Die Fast. Die Fast is the band that I sing for. I've been singing in bands since I was 17 or 18. Done touring. I'm the only designer out there today, I can say with a lot of confidence, that still plays in a gnarly rock and roll band and understands what it's like to cut yourself on stage. That's if anyone can challenge me on that, let's do the challenge. Let's do the cut yourself on stage challenge. And then we cut ourselves on stage, and then we sew a jacket. So if anyone wants to challenge me, I'm here. I'm open to that. I think it would actually be hilarious. A battle of the bands, but with sewing at the end. And then some coffee, I hope. And so Wes is part of the Die Fast family. He's part of the Montrose family. He's part of the Houston family. And he drew the Die Fast shirt that's got like the weird corpse guy, like giving you the bird, and there's like a cool chick and everything on it. And so that's Wes. That's his artwork. And so you can find Wes. It's Destroy West Texas at Instagram. He's on there doing his art thing. And his name, if you don't mind, I'm going to give it out anyway, is Wesley Mitchell. on the Facebook, and he's usually doing art shows. He's usually producing a lot of stuff, and he's selling a lot of cool stuff. So if you want to support another Texas artist, there's Wes right there. Um, and here we have a question from. See, I like Slick is in Germany and always asking questions, and I like it. So I want to make sure that I did follow up the whole thought uh, circle was discovering Ethan, trying to learn about comic books, figuring out about the whole fandom menace and all this other stuff that's going on, and listening to his spiel. And I don't know if I'm going to give one every show that we do, but figure I'd go through my qualifiers. Maybe I will just do it every show. I've been in the business a long time. I'm glad that I have this opportunity to talk to you guys about all the stuff that I've done, because I'm not really someone who I'm not always in advertising mode. I'm not always in bragging mode. I don't like to do that. That's not really how I was brought up. That's why I have a website. That's why there's the internet. You can see all the stuff that I've done. It's a little weird to talk about it. A lot of the stuff I don't even remember anyway, because my memory is pretty bad. I have had some really long, good runs with some really huge bands and pop stars, and that stuff was all great. I really liked it. That's brought me to where I am today, is where creating more choices for myself, and ultimately, it's to be worldwide. I want to travel more and set up junker outposts all over the planet. So that's kind of the plan, and these would be kind of like interactive outposts is my dream, where I could teach screen printing and other artists could come in. So if I was in Bandung, Indonesia, there would be some Indonesian artists that could come in and we could do some collaboration t-shirts and stuff. If I'm in London, same thing. Sweden, same thing. Russia, Germany, so forth and so on. And I think, like when I opened myself up to collaboration, it was probably about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I made a really conscious decision to not suffer in silence and in loneliness anymore. I know it's like really sounds dramatic, and it's really like kind of a stereotypical way to think about artists. But a lot of artists that I do know, like they do work alone, and they are a little effed up in the head. I decided at a certain point that in order for me to like make kind of more progress, like a vampire, I wanted to feed off the energy of other people. And so it was easier for me to start doing a lot of these collaborations, which is why, the collaboration with Glitter Pimp, for instance, he's a photographer. I'm the designer, but we come up with the ideas together, or, at the spur of the moment or whatever. And that's been going on for years and years, years and years and years. I think since about 2006 even. And it's just a really easy collaboration. John is completely drama-free. I feel like ego-wise, like we don't really have egos. We may. I'll take a stand to make sure one of my ideas gets shot. But that's the only way you figure out when your ideas are terrible as well. You need to see the shot. Like I want to throw milk at this girl sideways, but I want her to be jumping, and I want smoke, and we try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. We're going to do a shoot where we're going to have a bunch of planets floating around, and that didn't really turn out at all, so we're going to revisit that. But we want to do things in camera, so we wanted to shoot through plexiglass and add like little star fields and then hang planets and stuff like that. And it was kind of for a Star Wars themed shoot we were doing with a cosplayer that's from Los Angeles. So stuff like that, it doesn't always work, but you come back to it. So let me read this from Slick. I don't know if you guys can all see this. I assume you can all read his question anyway, because it's here. But he was browsing through my work from, I guess, 2005. He saw 69 Eyes, Backyard Babies, until now. I find that the style changed quite a bit. It had a way more punk vibe. Was this transition on purpose? Um, I think it's just a progression. So to let you know when I call that crackhead. When you see the old stuff that's all punky and crazy and patchy, like that's when I was first starting to do a bunch of stuff, and I didn't have access to a lot of supplies. I didn't have access to the knowledge to make great patterns. I didn't have the, I didn't have the knowledge really to do some of the other ideas that were more advanced, I guess. When you look at, say, the Blade Runner jacket and all that other stuff with all the pattern pieces and all the other stuff. So to give you an idea, when I started out, I was just working with the basic patterns, and then everything was kind of put on the basic patterns as, I would say, more of a collage. So because I was limited to supplies, leather and denim and everything. So I would get all these scraps and scrap them together and then screen print on them and then sand them and then add more scraps and then like sand that and then dye it. And it was just a different approach. So now that I have, I guess, patterns that are more advanced, and then you can design with that in mind, I tend to design, I guess, differently. I would say I design. Always thought like, at least the more recent stuff. When you think about like the chainsaw and the Blade Runner and some of the other stuff, I design like I'm designing for films, because I'm a big sci-fi fan. So I kind of like living in a sci-fi universe, I guess. Oh, yeah. So that was taken by Ville, the main photographer that shoots all the 69 Eyes stuff, and that is Emily. God, what is her name? Oh, she's gonna kill me. She's also like a star, the girl that's in there. Um, oh boy, oh boy. You'll probably be able to find her name linked with the linked with the picture. So I know which one you're talking about. So I think that the Texas jacket now, the Taste of Texas with all the studs on it, is a bit of a throwback, like that. And I think it's really interesting that you brought up what you brought up today, anyway, because I'm going back, not backwards. I'm going forwards and reimagining some really old stuff I did. So if you go to the Junker Designs, I can't pull it up now because I'm afraid it's going to F everything up. If you go to the Junker Designs page for the one that's on Facebook, and you look in my bio, the bio section, there's a picture of me sitting with this really, hey Rust, the stuff that I'm wearing when I'm sitting with that old guy on a bench, that's a bunch of the stuff I'm redoing. So you guys that are commenting about this older kind of stuff, it's just weird that now is the time when I'm actually revisiting a bunch of that stuff. Because I like to work in more of a chaotic, unplanned fashion, that's how you get those pieces. That's why most of that stuff is one of a kind. But now that I have more experience in making multiples of stuff, I'm going to do that again for two reasons. For one reason, now I know more, and I think I can do it better than I did. Also, because I really enjoy that kind of thing. I really enjoy the structure of working on a film where everything is planned out and careful, but there still is a lot of collaboration and creativity. And if you just picture the way I make these pieces that you guys are going to get here soon. Just picture that I may have piles of shit uh, basically all over my workspace. You know, usually what I like to do is make a kind of like a pile of denim. I'll make a pile of like doodads and whatnots. You know, like metal, like hardware. I like to make a pile of patches, and then I usually have piles of leather, and I have piles of army stuff. And it's like you're at a buffet. I already have my basic pattern pieces already figured out, and then I just start creating. So it's like it's very much like a collage. So if you guys are interested in getting any of those pieces, a fun experiment could be that we agree on the price. Of course, we agree on a price, and then you guys could just say denim with some studs and maybe a skull patch or something, and you would have to trust that you're going to get something that you like. You know, I do have clients that will do that. We can kind of do that back and forth. Vince Neil was actually a lot like that when we did a lot of the stuff that you saw in the Motley Crue Vegas. If you look up those pictures, Motley Crue Vegas is. Let me see if I can pull one of those up for you. Motley Crue Vegas was a lot of this crazy, like silver stuff, and you know, when I was talking to Vince about that, you know, Vince basically just said, I don't know, what about like Liberace? You know, what do you think about that? Like rock and roll, but kind of Liberace. And so he really just, you know, trusted me to do a bunch of crazy stuff. And I think it was really successful. We wanted to make sure that it was of course, it was a nod to you know, it had to be a nod to Vegas. You can't not do like a nod to Vegas. So we had to figure that out. And that, I don't know why it's putting this shit up sideways. So we had to figure out what's a nod to Vegas, like what things are like Vegas. He was really into the whole Liberace thing, so that ended up working pretty well. And we had to figure out what is, you know, what's too much and what's too little. Usually with Vince, though, honestly, there's not there's not much that was like too much. You know, if anything, you know, we're adding more stuff than, for instance, taking away. The silver stuff was, in particular, really, it was really a bunch of fun. That had a lot of things going on with it. There's a whole other costume that was all gold as well. But I think, you know, like the silver one, just for me, was pretty dynamite. Also because I had a belt buckle that like lit up and did all this crazy, you know, we did all this just crazy stuff. You know, I thought it was like really trying to push some boundaries, stuff that you know, I wasn't sure if we could actually do it. So at that time, I was working with some guys in my building in LA. So they had to, you know, we had to CNC the belt buckle, stuff like that. Stuff that was just new, that, you know, it was just new. Like, I'd never tried that before. Never tried to put a bunch of LEDs into a belt buckle. We never tried to CNC a belt buckle. We never tried to sandwich pieces. We sandwiched a bunch of cards, playing cards in there. Um, so this is Vince, obviously. Hope you guys can get a pretty good view at this. Once again, like I'm looking at thumbnails on my desktop, so I apologize. But what you see here is you can see he had there was a huge trench coat that he was wearing. There was his costume change. Obviously, was he could take the trench coat off, and then he could go ahead and wear the vest. That's all hand foiled. You have to glue all that foil on to get that look. That's all denim. So he's wearing all denim there. None of that is leather, and all that is then covered with stones and domes and gems and jewels. And the cool thing was, though, at least the bottom part of the pants that you can see there with the flames in them was done by these old ladies that supposedly did Earth, Wind, and Fire and a bunch of other people. They were like the gems and jewels ladies of Los Angeles. Whether or not that's true or not, I do not know. But that's what they told me. So I'll go with that. So let me look at. I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Oh yeah. So Mike, you like the Sith jacket? It's called the Sith. I think it's called the Sith Assassin's Jacket, and that's made out of all upcycled and recycled army half shelters. I think they're called. And then I dye them all black, and then cover them with wax, and do a bunch of other cool shit to them. I think the thing about the Junker logo patch there was just. I was pretty much in Star Wars mode. So as far as putting a Junker patch on there, I just skipped it. And so Slick says about never being able to afford something because he's a musician. I mean, dude, I relate. I play in a band. Dude, I know. But if we do the other way to get things done is you and all your friends, fly me to Germany, and we can do a workshop. And if you really want a vest or a jacket, we can make the workshop be that, because that is a workshop I want to do, which would basically show you how to break down a garment and make a pattern. So we'd make a vest pattern, then you can make any crazy ass vest that you want, and we'd that would be the workshop. Everyone would end up with a vest at the end of the workshop that had we had all constructed. Obviously, not everyone knows how to sew great. Like some of that stuff I can help you guys with and sew it and put in the zipper and all that other stuff. But that'd be a workshop that we could, I think, totally pull off. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Art, art is worth it if you can wear it. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's an investment. And I know it's a lot of money for people, which is why I'll take this moment to do the pitch about the Hugo Jacket. So the Blade Runner jacket from Junker was, I made that for a contest called Envisioning the Future. And then many years later, Robert Rodriguez got one, and then it ended up in his film in Alita on the character of Hugo. Then they made some different, changed a couple things. They took this big hood off, and they put on like a Levi's style collar that zips on and off. And if you guys go to the Junker Designs website right now and you look under the first product that you see, it's going to be a Junker Designs contest, and you're going to buy a raffle ticket. It's going to be $20. And so you go there and you buy a raffle ticket. And so, a lot of you guys have already heard this. I don't want you guys to walk away with nothing. Um, you will win. For everyone that enters with your $20, you're going to get a custom shirt, a custom patch, 2 Junker patches, and a Junker sticker. So the drawing is of my character called Exploder from the film, and I'm going to finish that up on Saturday, and then you'll be able to see what the T-shirt art is going to look like. I'm going to try to do it in. I'm going to try to keep it in the style of, Robotron and Missile Command and kind of the art that was on the sides of those video games when I was growing up. So that's what I'm going for there. So that you can get a jacket if you're willing to throw down some $20. Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. So let me just go through all this. Mike, do you have any want or need of any old band shirts or leather jackets? I have all kinds of stuff. I don't wear anymore, of course. T-shirts and jackets always. Like all that stuff can all be recycled. I mean, you would end up, yeah, all that stuff. I can use all that stuff all the time. Got my ticket. Thanks, Robert. So Robert from Temple, Under My Skin, got one. I thought there was something in here about Rob Zombie. Oh, so the thing with Rob Zombie is, and then Mike said it. So I used to sing in a band called Spunk. So Piggy or Matt, we named him Piggy when he was in Spunk, playing for us. And Matt also makes shit. And then, so I think Matt does, like you said, I think Matt does Rob's stuff, or Rob does Rob's stuff. I don't fucking know. All I know is he wears a copy of the Junker Nostromo hat that I did not make, and so that's not freaking cool. I could have made him one for. I could have made him one for. I would have made him one for free. We used to do shows with White Zombie a long time ago. There are a couple of a-holes that I do know from LA that pretty much rip off Junker stuff on the regular and kind of work for Rob or have worked for Rob in the past. So I'm not really surprised that he ends up wearing stuff that looks like Junker stuff. But it's a free world, but I'm not going to pretend like it's not happening and that he's wearing like a crappy version of the Camo Nostromo hat idea that I came up with. But I would like to see him wear one that's of a higher quality. I'd gladly send him some shit for free. Like, what do I care? It's a fucking hat. And I think it'd be cool because I mean, you got to give it to the guy. Like, he makes his own movies, makes his own music. That's my dream too. So more power to him. Okay, so let's go down to Slick. No offense in any way. I played guitar for 21 years, never earned a dime. Artists should be paid. Nobody in here should get me wrong, but a one-of-a-kind Junker piece would be close to a month of rent. Yeah, I understand. Totally. So, I mean, we can do the workshop there, and you can get stuff that way. It's just, just how it is. The Junker, it's expensive. Takes a long time, and it's, yeah. You have a regular job. You don't have to spend your money on crazy jackets. It looks like you're trying to learn how to do your own. You ask a lot of questions. That's good. You can figure it out. I'll try and help you figure it out. What's the D mean he won't say? I don't know. I don't remember him. I don't remember the D part. I just remember we called him Piggy. And I remember we gave him dreads in the van. We initiated him pretty hard into the band. He was great. He played on the Spunk Texas album. If you can find that, it should be pretty readily available now because I just signed another distribution deal. But I think the Spunk Texas album was probably the best sounding album that we did in that band. And he's playing guitar on there. I think Devin is playing guitar on there. I think another guy named Brent is playing the guitar on there. Jeff Poppy's playing bass. David Seymour is playing drums. Angie Seymour is playing keyboards and doing some samples. And that was when the band was pretty much disintegrating, but we still did like a record. That's why there's so many different guitar players on there. But you know, it is what it is. I think it's a really good record. It sounds killer. That was recorded by Rich Patz and oh shit, what is his name? I don't remember the other guy's name. Is what it is. I don't remember. So I'm not got. I don't even remember what I'm talking about now. We're talking about this Vince Neil stuff, and I'm not sure how we even got on the Vince Neil subject. But there's Vince Neil. So we did a bunch of this stuff for Vince Neil. It was a lot of fun. I mean, because when I was in high school, I mean, I grew up on Rush and Kiss, and then Greg Winters introduced us to the Motley Crue "Shout at the Devil" record. I remember he brought the record to gym class, and we all was like, "Whoa, man, what is this?" And so then we all got into Motley Crue for a while. I think until, oh, was it Girls, Girls, Girls or something? So 2 or 3 great records. And then I was, I think around the time of Girls, 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 I was way off into punk rock and hardcore stuff and, singing and doing a bunch of other stuff like that. Yeah, the Black Nikki Six Jacket, Mike. Thanks for mentioning that. There's actually 2 of those that are going to be up for sale. They don't have the Jesus on the back, so the Jesus is in a whole other story, and it's an opportunity to plug another artist that I get to work with. Oh yeah, and then I forgot Rose is Rose still in here? Hylechica. Miss Rose was in here earlier. Let me tell you about Mike, and then I want to tell you about Rose. Rose and I are working on some cool stuff. So the back of the Jesus jacket was painted by an artist named Mike Broom, and you can find him on Facebook. And all these people, you should tell them that I sent you. He does great work. He's employed now by K&B, who does all the makeup and stuff for Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead, and I'm not even sure what else. K&B is doing a ton of stuff all the time, and he is a concept artist over there. He's a great artist. He's super fast. He and I have done some live streams a while ago, but that was on Instagram, so I should get him on this show for sure. And really let you guys see him draw, dude. It is nuts. So that's something I can do when I go back to LA. It should be like in the next month or so. Yeah, so Greg Nicotero. Who's the K? K and B. I don't remember all those guys' names. But anyway, yeah, but Greg Nicotero, I think, is the main guy. He directs a lot of the Walking Dead stuff. And so Rose is in here. She has, I think, is that name Dutch? Or it's... some days it's just as easy. Some days it's just hard. Hylechica. Anyway, she does badass jewelry. I don't know if you can put a link in the live chat, like in the comments, but if you want to put up a link, Rose, you should do that. So Rose and I have been kind of co-designing a new Junker belt buckle that's going to come out. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening right now, and I can tell you now because the samples are done. So what Rose did is she made like the wax. So she did like the little sculpting and the bones and the whatever, and then you make Hylicha, Rose, okay. I don't know why I look at that and it just like melts my brain when I see it spelled out. But I think she shared the link for her shop. It's killer stuff. She's always like at biker conventions doing a bunch of crap like that. Um, so we have a belt buckle that's coming out, and I don't know when it's going to come out. But she did the wax, so it means like she already did like the sculpting, and we use like found pieces like the bullet shells and bones and little like pyramidal studs and stuff like that. Um, and so she did that part, and then I guess it's a silicone mold, and then you make a wax positive, I think it is. And then on the wax positive, she did some extra carving, and then I guess you take the wax, and then that's what you take for to the foundry or whatever. Then we're gonna make a bunch of these brass big belt buckles that are gonna be kind of like antiqued and all that. So that's what's gonna happen. So things you guys could think about that are coming up is I wish I could show you pictures. I just don't want to until I shoot them good. We're coming out with a combat sneaker. And I had a pair of these kind of looking things when I was in, I think, high school. Because I remember I had to paint them because Converse made this weird combat sneaker that was like light blue and yellow. So it looked like fucking ass. So I painted it. I painted it like blood red. And I think I drew some flames up the sides or something like that. So there is, oh man, I'm so stoked. We're putting out a combat sneaker. So if you picture that, it's probably 14 or 16 hole if we're talking about, docks or whatever. That kind of a thing. We're putting out this one again. With a couple of different features. Let me zip it up. This sneaker. I mean, out of all the stuff that people ask me about, I would say the sneaker is pretty freaking high up there on the list. The nose feature is a little different, but basically the same idea. And the reason I really wanted this is because this reminds me of those PK flyers, and I think that that's what they used when they did Alien. So the sneakers that you see, those white sneakers in Alien that they're all wearing on the Nostromo, I think it's called a PK flyer. It was a British sneaker, but it had the same kind of feature here on the front. Because I'm lazy, and when you work millions of hours, and the last thing you want to do is untie your shoes. You hear me? So we have this zipper. I love this. I don't like to wear sneakers without zippers now for this very reason. I find them to be a pain in the butt. I find them to take too much time to do my on and offs. And what happens if there's a house fire? This is the kind of shoe that you want to have. It's good for running. It's good for kicking. And it's good for zipping and then unzipping. And then on the back, these are really old, so forgive me, it's kind of hard to see. But one shoe says mother, and the other shoe says fucka. So when you're running from someone, you gotta be like, you gotta catch me, motherfucker. So that's why I put that on here. So then if you look at the other side of the shoe, everything's ass backwards in my camera, so forgive me. Then you have this feature. Pretty much a regular ass, but you got this, regular ass shoe. But it's all black, aged canvas. This is leather. This is all leather back here. This is hard leather right here, or semi-hard leather right here. And then, of course, this stuff is rubber. This is rubber. And it's going to have a special little bit of artwork here in the flapidoo. But it's basically this shoe again. For the normal shoe, for the big shoe, it's a freaking combat sneaker. What do you want me to tell you about it? What do you want? Yeah, it looks badass, dude. I really, I can't wait to show off my chicken legs with my big combat sneakers on. So that's the two sneaker related products, and then there's a steel toe boot that's coming out, and I'll show you the earlier prototype. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. All British. Are they called British Knights? I thought they were called PK Flyers or something. But anyway, yeah, they're British. It's based off a British sneaker, like that tip, that T-zip, the way it is. So this is the first prototype of the boot, and you can see that is freaking steel toe all the way, partner. It's got some like detail stuff on here. You can see like some little stitcheroos. It's got my favorite feature, zipper. It's got some D-ring details on the back. And then this is the thing that I really like about it. It's kind of see here. Whoops. See that? You can flip. You can flippity flap your flappity flip down. So this is like kind of the base. Like we've done more special stuff with it. I don't want to tell you about until the sample, and until the sample's done. But that's the boot. And so all that stuff's going to be so this is what I want to do with that. You guys got to tell me what you think. This is the only way I can think to do it. What the mistake that I made was the other time I did this, I ordered what I thought people wanted as far as the sizing went. And then what I did was field hate mail. No, I'm just kidding. Then basically what happened is because I ordered all these different shoes, I ordered too many small and not enough big. And so all my big dudes that I know were like, what's up with that? I was like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't thinking. So PK, they're PF Flyers is what they used in Alien. That sounds about right. But yeah, anyway, so what I want to do with the boots and the sneakers is it's all going to be pre-order. So you guys are going to have to be cool with waiting. It's the only way I know how to do it because I don't want to F myself by. I still have like a bunch of small sneakers in my garage. Yeah, I think that doing a pre-order is going to be the way to go. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to, I'm working with a guy, we're going to work on a big campaign so everyone knows about this. I think we're going to limit the sales to 300 pieces per style. So I'm only going to sell 300 pairs of the low tops, of the high tops, 300 pairs of the combat sneaker, 300 pairs of boots. Then when that's done, then we come up with the new designs. Similar to this raffle idea. The raffle idea, why you guys need to get it in on that, is because this is a way for people to win crazy, and this is for you, Slick. This is a way for people, hopefully, that I can provide really crazy costumes for people in the raffle, in a raffle form. So someone who might not want to, or for whatever reason doesn't want to spend a bunch of money on a jacket, and like I totally understand. I wouldn't spend that much on a jacket. I spend that much on paintings and stuff from people, but not on clothing, which is kind of weird. This is a way for everyone to have a chance to win something that they might not normally spend that kind of money on, and the "and" part is really important, to get limited edition merchandise that has just is only tied to that particular raffle. So the first raffle is the Hugo Jacket. You'll get the limited edition Exploder artwork. You know, the hidden part of that raffle that I'm going to let you guys know about today is that the second place raffle winner will get the original artwork as well. So I'm going to give that away. There's no need for me to keep that, and I'll sign that and give that. Oh, there's a banana. There's a child coming. Step, mama. So there's that. And then the next thing after that is the Akira raffle. Same thing. I want to sell at least 2,000 tickets. They're $20 each. You'll get measured, and you get to win this crazy costume. And then everyone who enters gets something cool. Hey, banana. It's very shy. So that's kind of what I'm trying there. Hey, banana. My daughter's giving me some dirt and leaves off the ground from inside the room here. So that's the plan. So hopefully you guys heard some info today that you like. I have to figure out how long we've been doing this for, how long we've been streaming for. Should tell me somewhere on our stream, on my stream health, or my Streamulator live stream. No way is it an hour and... No, that's not right. An hour. Well, a little over an hour. I guess we've been talking a little over an hour. I know some of you guys got to go back to lunch. So the other important thing to please remember is that you must make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like. Make sure to share this video. I think it's gonna like appear by tomorrow or something. I'm not even sure how this stuff works. 67 minutes. Thanks, Slick. And then there's this other idea that Slick has, and this works for Sweden and Germany, who are the two people that are on here that are overseas, and it works for Texas. It works for anybody. So Slick made the suggestion, and it's a great suggestion. Actually, you should go put up information on booking a class event, like what is needed and what the costs have to be, what the costs are, and what has to be covered, and then people can try to make it possible. That's a great idea. And I should have that. Yeah, let me figure out how to do that, like in a way that makes sense. Because obviously, like if I'm in Texas, it's not too hard to do classes for people. I'm probably going to do something in Dallas. I believe it's in April. And doing stuff in Europe, obviously, is expensive to get over there. I don't eat that much, so just give me some lumpas or some tea or coffee or whatever, and we can make that work. What is she doing? She's eating leaves, sitting below me eating leaves. Come here, banana. It's in. Hey, give me that. Give me that. I don't see it. Can you give it to me? Oh, there we go. Look. Yeah. I love having a child So funny. Eat some damn leaves. So anyway, yeah. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. There's just a lot going on. I'll do this again tomorrow. So I actually have blown through this whole thing, and I forgot to tell you that if you want to get 50% off tomorrow, this is for you guys only. It's gonna be. Let me show you. This will be the super secret password that you can use for the Friday the 13th sale. You get 50% off, and this is for you guys only. It's I thought a long time about this. It's Friday 13. So write that down. I'm not going to advertise that anywhere else. I'm just going to say there's a big 50% off sale, and if you didn't watch the YouTube, you're out of luck. You know, you need to go over and watch the YouTube if you want to figure out what the code is for the sale that's going to be tomorrow. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate your time. I will see you guys. I guess it's going to be tomorrow again. All right, take it easy.